our lecture number 15 of our course Object Oriented Programming for class BSSC second. In this lecture, we are going to overload the subscripted operator. The topic of these lectures are subscripted operator, separate get and set function. Through these two functions, firstly we will perform the operation of this subscripted operator, safe class coding, main program coding. This is the safe class, and we will implement this safe class through this main program coding. Then we will again write the second version of this safe class, single access function returning by reference. We will use a single access function in place of these two functions, get and set. In place of these two functions, we will use single function, and we will perform the functionality of these two functions through this single function. Updated version of safe class coding, updated version of main program coding, because the previous class with set and get function have been updated, so this is the updated version. Then we will overload. In place of this access function, we will use this function, because this is subscripted operator, and we will use this operator, and we will overload this operator, because this operator has some deficiency, and we will cover this deficiency by overloading this operator. When this operator performs the function on standard data, it has some deficiency, and we will discuss that deficiency in this lecture. And then overloaded operator version of safe class and overloaded operator function versions of main program coding. These are the topic of our today lectures. Let's see the subscript operator. The subscript operator, in this operator, actually we will give the size of an array, and then the operating system reserve the memory of that array, as we mentioned here in between this square bracket. Actually, this is the symbol of subscript operator, which is normally used to access array elements. Through this operator, we also access the array elements, either for storing the data in array or retrieving or displaying the data from the array. Can be overloaded, and this operator can be overloaded. This is useful if you want to modify the way array works in C++. In which fashion this subscripted operator or array work in C++? If we want to modify that fashion, that methodology, or that way of working of the array, then we have to overload this operator. For example, we might want to make a safe array, because actual array or original array which works in C++ is not safe, because it exceeds the limits of array from both ends, from lower or upper end. One that automatically check the index number. This is actually index numbers are exceeded in the actual array syntax or actual array fashion of the C++ program. We may use to access the array to ensure that they are not out of bound. Actually, through original array processing, we exceeds from the boundary, lower and upper boundary, and the array itself does not inform the user that user has been become out of bound, and this is the drawback or deficiency of this the processing of array, and we will actually cover this deficiency, and our overloaded subscript operator will ensure that the user will not exceed the bound of either lower or upper bound of array, but instead our overloaded operator will show a message that user has been exceeded the lower or upper bound. The overloaded subscript operator must return values by reference. Now this is another thing, returning value by reference. Actually we return the standard values from the function. Now we will return the reference, that is address of an object from the functions, and at that address the whole operation will be performed. To see why this is true, we will show 3 different versions of program that implement safe array, each one using a different approach to inserting and reading the array elements. Because we normally insert data into the array or read the data from the array, so this operation will be we will check or we will see this operation using 3 different versions of the program. And the subscripted operator, this continue. And the first version of the program will use the set and get function, this separate set and get function. Then a single access function we will use, and we will operate the insertion and reading of the data from the array through single function. While at this version we will use 2. Set will store the data into the array and get will retrieve the data from the array. The overloaded subscript operator, at place of access we will use this operator and we will overload this using return by reference. All 3 programs create a class called safe array, whose only member data is an array of 6 integer values. Our class contains an array of integers of 6 memory location, and it will assign 6 memory location of array to each of its object, class object. And all 3 versions of program check to ensure that all array accesses are within bounds. When we will access an array for the first array element, then for second, for third, for fourth, at each access it will check firstly the bounds, that the value which we are going to insert or we are going to read from the array belongs or within the bound or out of the bound. The main program in each program tests the class by filling the safe array with values, each one equal to 6 times its array index, and then displaying them all to assure the user that everything is working as it should. Actually, we understand how the original array processing violates the boundaries. The problem due to which we are overloading this subscripted operator. Here we are going to discuss that problem. Actually, the subscripted operator, this does not inform the user when to use when the user try to enter or access data beyond the array limit. That is, for example, if we have an integer array of 5 elements, this is int x of 5. This is x is an integer array which contains 5 elements: x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4. These are the 5 locations which in which we are going to store the data. J is the actually loop control variable. For j is equal to 0, j less than or equal to 7. The size of X array is 5, while we are executing this for loop for 7 times. Actually, it should be executed 5 times, but when it executes 7 times, it stores the 7 values, while the capacity of X array is 5, but it gets 2 more values and it stores the values in the memory of array, but these values are actually wasted. When j is equal to 0, sin x of 0, at x of 0 location, user inputs the value 10, then the value of j is incremented and it becomes 1. At x of 1 location, computer stores the value 20, which it takes from the user, and then x of 2, x of 3, x of 4 location, it stores the values, and then 2 more cycles of for loop. For 2 more cycles of for loop, the j is incremented and the value of j become 5, and at x of 5 location it stores the 60, at x of 6 location it stores the 70, but these 2 values are wasted because we have not reserved the memory for these 2 values, and this is the drawback. If this for loop generating the index beyond the limit, the last limit of this array is 4, and this for loop is generating the index 5 and 6 and also getting the value from the user, and user is entering the value which are going to be wasted, and this is the wastage of time for the user. If these values are not actually stored in the memory and we cannot use or utilize these values, then why the computer is taking values from the users? This is the deficiency of the subscripted operator. It should inform the user that you are going beyond the limit. Your limit is index number 4, and 5 and 7 are beyond the limit, so you should not exceed the limit. Here the x of j or this operator has no capability to inform the user that reserved limit of array has been finished and rest of the data is going to be wasted. By overloading subscript operator, that is this, we can add the above mentioned deficiency with this operator. Separate get and set function. The first program provides 2 functions to access the array element, that is set element, this is a function to insert a value into the array, and other function is get element, this function to find the value of array element. We will use these 2 functions for storing and accessing the value from the array. Both functions check the value of the index number supplied to ensure it is not out of bound. These both functions will check whether the index at which we are going to store the value or from where we are going to access the value are within the bound or out of bound. That is less than 0 or larger than array size, that is -1. 5 minus 1, that is 4. Larger than 4, value will be out of bound. Less than 0 value, that is -1, -2, this value will be out of bound. So if the main program supplies such kind of index as in the previous example we have seen, the main program, this for loop is generating the index beyond the limit. Limit is 1 less than 5 is the size, and 5 minus 1, that is 4 is the last index. So for 5 and 6 index, this array has no reserved memory, and our class will check that if the main program is generating the index 4, 5, 6, then it will show the message and inform the user that this index does not belong to your reserved memory of the array. You may see it here. This is our safe class coding for get and set function. Process.h, this is an extra header file for exit function. This is library function, we are using it here. So, when we will use this function, we will include process.h header file, while these are two header files which we include in our each and every program. Class safe array, this is safe array. In private section, we have an integer array A of 6 elements, A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, because size is 6. The last unit is less than 6, that is 5. From 0 to 5, these are the 6 memory memory locations, and these are the addresses. Actually, each memory location has an address: 100, 102, 104, 106, 108, 110. These are the addresses of this memory location. So these memory locations can be accessed through this side, that is A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, or through this references. In public section, we have two functions. This is the function for insertion of values into the array, and this green color function, get element. This is the function for retrieving the value from the array. And here n is actually the index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the main program provides the value to n, n is checked. N is less than 0, that is -1, -2, -3, beyond the limit. Or n is greater than 6, greater than or equal to 6. 6 is actually out of bound, and greater than 6, that is 7, 8, 9 are out of bound. 5 is not out of bound. From 5 onward, all index are out of bound. So if n is greater than or equal to 6, either 6 or greater than 6, or n is less than 0, that is -1, -2, -3, then it will be out of bound, and it will show this message: index out of bound, and will exit, that is exit from the main program, because we are going to violate the rule and we are inserting the value beyond the actual reserved limit of the array. And if this condition is false, that is index is 3 or 2, 2 is less than 0, no, 2 is greater than 6, no, then it will come here. This is actually if block. This line belongs to if block. This will not execute because condition has been false, and the value element value which we are going to insert into the array, this will be inserted at that index A of 2 or A of 3. N is 2, A of 2. At A of 2 location, the corresponding value will be stored, and if n is 5, at A of 5 location, the corresponding EL value will be stored here. This is for insertion, and this is for accessing the element. Int get element, int n. When we want to get an array element from the memory of array, we supply these functions, the index relevant function, that is, this is 3 index. We will provide n to 3, and we will store the value 3. 3 is less than 0, no. 3 is greater than 6, no. Then this if block will not be executed, and here A of 3 value will be returned to main program. At this location A of 3, something will be stored, that will be returned to main program. These two functions will work for inserting and reading the array memory. This is main program, and main program will contain safe array. This is the class name. This is our class name, safe array. This is class name. With the help of this class name, we can create object. Our object name is SA. This is our SA object, and it contains the memory of safe array. Safe array, memory of safe array is this one. This is the memory of safe array, and this object contains the memory of that safe array. Here we have two integer variable j and t. This is j and this is t. J is actually controlling the loop and t is actually getting the value from the user and storing into the array memory. So when j is equal to 0 and j less than 6, j plus plus, when j is 0, c in t, the value we get the value from the user and store in t. At t location, it is the first value is 10. So we get the value 10 from the user, and we want to store at location 0. At 0 location of array, we want to store 10. But firstly, we will check whether 0 is within the bound or out of bound. So sa.setElement, this is the function of our safe array class. So we will send the j and t, that is j 0 and 10. 0 and 10 will be passed to the array. This blue color function, and this blue color function will check that is 0 is within the bound. If it is within the bound, then the t value will be supplied to this el value. This variable or this parameter will receive the value of t, that is 10, and this 10 will be stored at a of 0 location. And here you may see a of 0 location contains the value of 10. And then next j will increment, j will become 1, and we will get another value of t, and it will be 20. And at one location, computer want to store the value of t 20. So set element will be called. This blue function will be again called, and 1 will be checked. 1 is within the bound or not, and then the t contains 20, which will pass to el value, this function. And if it is within the bound, then this block will not execute, and we will come here, and that 20 value of t, which is passed to this el value variable, this 20 value will be stored at a of 1 location. And you may see here a of 1 location contains the value of 20, and is in this way all the 6 elements will be processed. The value will be received from the user and will be stored through the set element function of the safe array, so that if the index exceeds, then the safe array set element function will inform or display the message that it is out of bound, and we will not store the more data, so that it cannot be wasted. Similarly, this function will call the get element function, that is this green color function, and this green color function will check the value, because we have passed the value of j. J is 0. We will pass to it to j 0. Then it will check that is 0 belongs to within bound or not. So 0 is less than 0, no. 0 is greater than 6. 0 less than 0, no. 0 is greater than 6, no. Then it will not execute this line, and it will come here. A of 0 value will be returned, and this A of 0 value will come here. What is the value of A of 0? That is 10. 10 will come here. 10 will store at memory location t, and that t value will be displayed. Count element at location 0 is value of 10, and then j will be incremented, and j it will become 1. 1 is less than 6, yes. 1 will be checked from the get element whether 1 is within the bound or out of bound. If it is within the bound, then this access function will will return a of 1 value, and this a of 1 value will be a of 1 value, that is 20, will come here and will store in T, and this T will displayed here. That is element 1, element at location 1 is 20, and all the value will be accessed in this function. Firstly, the subscript will be checked, and then it will return the value. The next version, actually, some important points regarding understanding the concept by reference. This is actually we have taken some example from some other functions. Let's suppose this is a program which contains two integer variable, that is, this is our main program. Actually, I am missing this statement of main program. These are the two statements. Actually, I have the light problem. There is no light. This load shedding. This is our main program, and how it will work. Int x is equal to 65, y. These are two integer variables. X is 65, y. And this is the memory of two integer variable. These are two character variable. This is a character variable z, which contains the b character. This is z, and it is character variable, and it contains the value p. And there are two integer variable and one character variable. This is the whole memory of main program. Computer will display value of x is equal to, what is the value of x? 65. 65 will be displayed here. Value of z is equal to z, b. B will be displayed here. Value of the output will be this one. Value of x is 65 and value of z is equal to b. Value of x is 65, value of z is equal to b. This will be the output. At this stage, when we will assign the value z to y is integer variable, z is a character. When we assign the value of z, that is b, to this y memory location, then y will not accept the value of b, because this is integer variable. It will accept the integer value, not a character value. Then what will happen? If we write this statement and we are going to store a character value to integer, then computer will not display the error message, but it will see that whether something belongs to this b, which is of integer type. Yes, the character ASCII code of b is 66, which is integer. Computer will not store the b to y, but it will store the ASCII code, that is 66, in location y. And when we will assign x is 65. When we will assign x to z, where z is a character variable, then how an integer will be assigned to character? It will not be assigned to z, but the computer or the compiler will see that whether 65 has some character value. Yes, 65 is the ASCII code of a character. Then computer will convert it into a, and this a will be stored into z location. Actually, this is done automatically, and computer see the second option of the value which is suitable for the assigning variable. Then it store that value to that variable. If an alternative is there, we will use this concept in our next 2-3 slides. And So y contains 66 because we have assigned z to y and z is b. B ASCII code is 66. 66 will be assigned to y, not b. And here we are going to assign the value of x to z while x is 65. 65 will not assign to z because 65 is not character. And if there is some value attached with 65, yes, 65 is the ASCII code A. A will be assigned to B. So Z contains A. Now we will display X, Z and Y, and you will see computer will display value of X is equal to, what is the value of X? 65. It will display 65. Value of Z is equal to Z. Z is A. It will display A. And value of y is equal to y, that is 66. It will display 66. However, we have assigned z to y while in the previous memory location z contains b. So it should display the third line of code. It should display the b, but it has displayed here 66. So b cannot be displayed through y. So 66 is the ASCII code of b. So it will be displayed. And similarly, we have assigned the x value to z. X is 66, but z is displaying A because z can not store 66 value. It can store the character of 66, and character of 66 is A. So A is displayed here. You will see this was the concept, that is how the alternative value can be stored in the memory location through automatic compiler functionality. Single access function returning by reference. As it turns out, we can use the same member functions both to insert data into the safe array and to read it out. The secret is to return the value from the function by reference. This means we can place the functions on the left side of the equal sign and the value on the right side will be assigned to the variable returned by the reference. This is actually our safe array coding, which is modified version. Here you may see only a single function at place of get and set function. We are using single function for both operation, input and output operation. We will use this single function. Very important program, very important concept. The same array. This is the memory of our class, which the class will assign to each of its objects. This is int and is address. Address of integer memory location will be returned. Access is the name of function. It will get the index and check index is out of bound or not. And less than 0 or and greater than 6, it will be out of bound. Then it will display the message. Otherwise, it will return the value. But the value will not be returned. Whether something attached with this value, yes, value contains this address, then address will be returned. If because its return type is address, int address, integer address. So these are integer memory location. So these are the address of integer memory location. These addresses will be returned. Actually, access function is returning the addresses, not the actual value. So here we are returning actual value, but the type is that we have to return the address of integer memory location. So each memory location, A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 5, these are integer memory location. So their addresses will be returned because return type is address or reference. So this is main program coding. S is safe array. Similarly, this is safe array and S is our object, and this is the memory given by the class, and this is the modified form of that memory through these two loops. And the first loop insert the value in this memory. So blank memory has been cancelled and it has been replaced with this inserted values. So J and T, these are two integer variable, object memory, and this integer memory J. This is the memory of J and this is the memory of T. J is equal to 0, J less than 6, J plus plus. This loop will run 6 times. C in T, the value of T is 10. sa dot access of j. Access function, we are going to call the access function and we are passing the value of j, that is 0. And this access function will check that is j belongs to within the bound, it is within the bound or out of bound. If it is within the bound, then it will come here and return the integer value but its address. So the address will come here. The t value, that is 10, will not be assigned to address. Anything belongs to the address of a of 0, that 100 is the address of 0. So here computer will return the 100, and we are going to store 10 to 100. 10 cannot be stored at 100, but 100 contains this memory location, so it will store the value of 10 at this memory location which belongs to this 100. Second time, j will 1, and at one location the address is 1 of 0. 1 of 0 address will be returned here by the class, and the value of second value of t, which we will user will input, it will be stored at this 102 location. And then third, fourth and fifth value will be passed to access function, and access function will return these addresses, and the t value will be stored at those locations. Similarly, the value will be accessed from the access function of the safe array. If j is 0, sa object is calling access function and passing the value 0, and the access function will check the 0 that it belongs to bound or not. If it belongs to bound, and it will return the memory a of 0 memory value at the location of a of 0 memory, but not it will return the address of that location. What is the address of that a of 0 memory location? Address is 100. 100 will be returned here. We will store 100 at t location, but 100 is address. Address cannot be stored at integer memory location. T is integer memory location. So at with this address, 10 is integer value which is attached with this 100 address. So computer will not store 100 at t location, but will store the second alternative value, that is 10 at t location. And count statement will display that element at 0 location is 10, and then for j is equal to 1, 1 will pass to access. Access will return the 1 location address, that is 102. 102 will going to store at t location, but it cannot be stored at t location. So the value 20, which is attached with 102, it will be assigned to t and it will be displayed here. Similarly, all value will be accessed, and computer will access function will firstly check the boundary of the index and then store value. Overloaded plus separator. Now it is easy. This is a subscriptive operator, and this we are going to overload. At that access function, we are using this operator. You may see it here, and this was the access function. This function, this is same. Nothing is changed in that. At this place of access word ACCESS, we have used the this operator. All other things are like that, and this is the same thing. Only the single function is inputting and outputting the value, and it is also returning the address. Here you may see the main program. J is equal to 0. This index is generated, and user input the value of t, that is 10, and we are going to store 10 at location 0. But this subscripted operator in the class, it will check whether it belongs to 0 is passed to n is less than 0 or greater than 6. No, then will come here, and a of 0 location value will be returned, but here we are going to return the address. So 100 will be returned because the memory of A of 0 is 100. 100 will be returned, and at 100 location user has input T, value 10. So 10 will be stored at 100 location. Similarly, the next value 20, user will give 20 for location j is equal to 1. 1 is within the bound. So the subscriptory operator function will return 102 address. At 102 address we are going to store 20. At 102 address, at this location it will store 20, and similarly the other value will be stored, and this function will access the function the value from the array. J is equal to 0. S object is calling this subscriptory operator and passing the value of j 0. So this function will return the address, will check the 0 and contain 0. 0 less than 0, no. Equal greater than 6, no. Then it will return A of 0 memory. A of 0 memory location has nothing, but this address will be returned because its return type is address. 100 will be returned. So this main program here, 100 will be assigned to T. 100 is the address. Address cannot be assigned to an integer variable, but 100 location contains an integer value 10. This 10 will be assigned to T, and computer will display this 10 value element at 0 location is 10, and then the next j is 1 and s a of 1. 1 will be passed to this subscriptory operator. Subscriptory operator return the address of one location, that is 102. 102 will be assigned to T, which cannot be assigned. So 20 will be assigned. 20 will be assigned to T, and then T, the value of T, that is 20, will be displayed through this function. All value of the array will be accessed in this function. We have overloaded this subscriptory operator. This was the end of lecture number 15. Allah Hafiz.